Alright guys, I am here today with my yearly favorites. Just going over complexion and everything else. I am going to make a separate video for my eyeshadow palettes, but there's just so many products and I want to give each and one of them the time that it deserves. And yes, so let's not delay any longer. These are my favorite products for 2020. I'm gonna start with primer because that's usually where I start with my makeup. And I have some products in here. I think most of the products in here, I think you're gonna know exactly what they are. And the first one is the Touch in Sol Glassy Pretty Filter Skin Balm. This is probably my all-time favorite primer. It is pretty much like a moisturizing, hydrating primer, and I feel like it really makes my skin look smooth and hydrated and plump underneath my makeup, and I just absolutely love it. I think I highly recommend this. I have very oily skin, so I don't have any issues using this, and I think that it's beautiful. In conjunction with that, I also really like the Touch in Sol No Problem primer. This is a great pore filling primer that does not make your pores feel clogged. It's not a putty, so it doesn't feel like you're putting something thick and heavy on your skin. It really melts into your skin and feels like skincare, and that's why I really love this. I don't use too much, as you can see. It's just because I use a very little amount in my T-zone area where I have a lot of large pores, and I think that that is enough. So I can't say enough about these two products right here. I saw they are now at Ulta, and they have a couple other primers that I'm super excited to try. Hope to try them in the new year. So going on, a primer I was using a lot in the summertime is this Glow Screen. It's a SPF of 40. It really is more of a sunscreen, but it is advertised that you can use it as a primer, and I definitely did this a lot in the summertime. I did feel like my makeup didn't hold up as long, but it gives such a beautiful glow to the skin, and in the summertime I feel like it just was perfect, and I kept reaching for it every single day, and I highly recommend this. Yeah, and the last two primers I want to talk about are actually incredibly similar. This is the Milani Soft Glow Focus in Golden Glow, and also the Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I have mine in the shade 510. These are really similar products. This one has a little bit more of an intensity to the skin of Luminous, but both can be used all over the skin as is, or as a primer, or even over makeup as like a highlighting situation. And I just love these products as a primer. I think makeup looks beautiful on it. It does give a gorgeous radiance to the skin, and I reach for them over and over again. Okay, so the next category would be foundations, and different foundations are great for different times of the year. I think in the beginning of the year I could not stop using this Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation. It's an all-day natural radiant foundation. It does have some SPF in this. It is I believe promoted as a light to medium cover foundation, but I actually find it to be a little bit more medium to full coverage, and I think this is stunning on the skin. It gives you really beautiful, plump, radiant looking skin, youthfulness, and I adore this foundation. Now if you don't like to look dewy, this might not be for you, but I highly recommend this. Again, I have oily skin and I really don't mind this. And then when I want to look a little bit more mattified but still look more natural, look more like myself, just slightly enhanced, I'm reaching for this over and over again. This is the Mcgrath Sublime Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and I have mine in the shade medium 17. This is so lightweight and thin that even when I have a tan or lose my tan, I feel like I can still get away with this. because it's so thin and pigmented, but not in a way that is overly pigmented, like I look orange if I lose some of my tan. It just really blends into the skin. It has a very soft, matte, natural finish to it, and I just love, love, love this. If you have more of an oily skin, you're gonna adore this product. If you have a dry skin type, you might not like this. So my last two have been fairly recent favorites. I discovered these in the summer, and then I would not put them down at all. And the first one is the Milani Screen Queen Natural Finish Foundation. This is natural finish, medium. You can build it up to full coverage. Gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. I just feel amazing. I feel like when I wear this, it just looks like I have a really great skin day, and I absolutely adore it. This Sephora S Clean kind of surprised me. I picked it out of a whim, and I have mine in the shade 21. This is gorgeous. It gives your skin like a glowing radiance. It has like, I don't know that it has a pearl in it, but it almost looks like you have there's a pearl in it, and you're like really shiny and glowy. It's amazing, and I highly, highly would recommend this. I actually thought that the Girl On was gonna be something like this, and I feel like low-key I kind of like this one better. I've only used the Girl On about twice, so I'm gonna try it out a little bit more, but this is beautiful, like so beautiful on the skin. Lasts all day and just gorgeous. So for concealer, I've been playing with a lot of different concealers this year, and I've been pretty disappointed 9 times out of 10. I've been going through a lot of things like much of us people in 2020, ups and downs, sleepless nights, and I have large dark circles under my eyes a lot of the time, and I feel like I really need that added coverage. And these concealers that I want to talk about are the ones that I felt like were great for that, for dark circles. But before I actually get into the full concealers, I want to talk about this color corrector from L'Oreal True Match. It is in the shade Orange Neutral, but I also have their beigey, peachy kind of looking one as well. I love this. I've tried several color correctors as well this year, from the Becca one to the Flower Beauty, and I just feel like nothing works like this. This really neutralizes the dark circles and stays in place. It goes on creamy enough to slide onto the skin, but then it really grips onto the skin, so when you put your concealer on, it's not moving around, and you're actually getting that coverage you need to really blank out those dark circles. You don't need to color your entire face like Crayola. It just covers those spots that you need and does an amazing, amazing job. But full coverage concealers, I'm still sticking with this Born This Way Multi Sculpting. I have this one right now in the shade Sand. I use warm sand in the middle of the summertime when I'm really tan. This is great. I can't really find anything that's going to top this, but I do also really like this Flower Beauty Light Illusion one. I do feel like it's pretty full coverage and really great like radiance to the skin. I love this. And then if I'm going for like a no makeup kind of day, if we're just going to soccer practice or something like that, I mean, we haven't done that, but like just something really simple out the door, and my circles are dark and bad, and I really don't want to look the way I do, or I want to cover some acne marks, I was reaching for this one a lot. This is the Nude Sticks concealer pencil, and I have medium 6, but I also this is medium 5, and I also have medium 6 for when I have a tan. This is great for just spot concealing. It is a big jumbo pencil. I know a lot of people don't like this. It's not really like a traditional concealer, so it's not really, I don't find that it's gonna have that full coverage vibe, but I do really enjoy it. And then this is a recent purchase that I really like. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer. I have this one in the shade, medium 33, and then I have another one in shade tan something. But this is a really great concealer for just covering up some dark circles, going over some blemishes, blending it out with a sponge, and walking out the door. You really do look flawless and like you've put no effort at all. So these are really great, just simple out the door concealers. So my favorite loose powder ever, if I want to look full on glam and flawless on a particular day, is the Huda Beauty, what's it called? Easy Bake Loose Baking Powder, and I have mine in the shade Blondie. This is like a really creamy powder that makes your under eyes just look so smooth and flawless, and it's not heavy at all. And I like that it has a little bit of color to it because I just feel like it helps brighten the under eye without overly brightening. There's so many shades in this. If you really want that highlight under eye, then you can get that. But I find that this shade is really quite perfect for me. When I am using a pressed powder, my absolute favorite is the Jouer Hydrate and Set. It has actually kind of a radiance to the skin. I have mine in 2 shades, medium and tan. Right now I'm using medium, and I smashed my tan a little bit, so she's sad. But this is what she looks like. She has a little imprint. Jouer just released that they came out with a translucent version if you are interested in that. I just really love a powder with some color to it. I just feel like it looks the best on me, and so I really enjoy this. Again, it actually does look like you get some kind of radiance under the eye, which almost reflects light and keeps, you know, your dark circles more concealed, and I just love this powder. But if I'm gonna reach for something drugstore because, you know, I just don't want to use my bougie stuff, then I am reaching for the Flower Beauty Light Illusion. I have this one in Tawny. This also comes in a pretty good, I think, range. You do have to purchase it from the site. I do find like if I go to Ulta or something like that, they have limited shades. Granted, they don't have the most shades, but Ulta will sometimes only carry like 4 or 5 of shades of things, even with Physician Formula and stuff like that. So just be aware of that sometimes it's just better to go to the site. But yes, I really love this under eye. I feel like it's smooth. It just looks gorgeous under the eye. I've tried like Charlotte Tilbury and stuff like that, and I just don't find that they're even as good as this. And then this is a finishing powder, which is different from me. I don't usually set my whole face or use a finishing powder, but I decided this year to try this NYX High Glass finishing powder, and I have mine in the shade Medium. I absolutely love this stuff. It gives your face a beautiful, beautiful glow to it, and it's just really stunning. I can't keep my hands off of this. So this year was the year of bronzers and blushes, and the next stage in the game for me is bronzers. I absolutely fell in love with, just like many people, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzers. I have this one is the shade Medium, but I also have the shade Tan, and they are stunning, beautiful, creamy bronzer. Doesn't give you a lot of kick up, and they just glide on the skin. I absolutely adore that bronzer. But what I feel like is kind of a dupe in a sense are these XX Revolution bronzers. This is in the shade Phantom, and I also have the shade Chaos. These are really similar on the skin in an application. I will say that you will get some kick up in the pan on here. It's not as firmly pressed as the Airbrush bronzer, but I do feel like you get a very similar finish, and the texture, even when you're touching it, feels the same. So I can't put these down either. This was also a year that I was obsessed with cream products, so of course we have to name the Fenty cream bronzers. I have 2 shades. I was using Teddy in the summer, and now I'm using Honey Glaze, which is really beautiful. I do find these to be more balming, so it does have kind of like a luminosity to it, a little bit of stickiness to it. They also seem to have a slight shimmer to them, so just keep that in mind. They're really great formula though. My top favorite one, has to be though still the Huda Beauty Tantour. I have mine in the shade Light, and this is what she looks like. It is a matte finish, and I mean that's pretty much my preference overall. So I hate saying that because I feel like I'm saying Fenty isn't as good. Fenty is good, they're good, but it's totally different vibes. I feel like in the summertime though, I was reaching for these Fenty ones nonstop because you want that summertime glow, that summer shine vibe. But most of the time for like a regular work day, I'm gonna be reaching for this one. And then an oldie but a goodie, this is not really a bronzer, this is the Superstay foundation stick. I have it in the shade Mocha. This is very similar, I think, look to the Huda Beauty Tantour, and it's super easy to apply. Just draw straight on my face, blend it out. Because it is like a foundation stick, it blends into every foundation really nicely, and it's a tried and true favorite of mine. Another surprise to me this year was I purchased the Nabla Skin Bronzing in the shade Soft Revenge as a bronzer. I could not get my hands on Profile till very recently. I did just purchase it, and that is what I'm wearing today. But I got Soft Revenge, which was a really cool tone brown, and I thought, oh, I'm never gonna use that. Not for me whatsoever. But I do find that I'm contouring, and it's because of this product, and I really enjoy that. And so I feel like it's worth making a mention that if you are into contouring or you're playing with the idea of contouring, this is a really great product to do that. It's thin, lightweight, it blends into the skin nicely, and I feel like it's user friendly. The next category would be highlighters. So I want to talk about, kind of go through the year, because I feel like I live in New England and we experience 4 different seasons. My skin changes a lot, so my complexion changes quite a bit throughout the year. I can be quite what I consider fair, like medium skin tone, and then I can get into the very tan dark skin range in the summertime. And so my highlighters, I feel like, kind of range between that and really reflect that my skin color has changes throughout the years. And so I don't want to neglect and say things weren't a favorite because I haven't used it recently, because I do feel like it would be a favorite. I would be reaching for it more if my skin tone would allow me to. So the first thing I want to mention is this Cashapp Beauty Mochi Glow in the shade Luna. This is something I used a lot in the springtime when I was what I consider pretty fair. It's a very natural, beautiful highlight. I would just, you know, put it on with my finger and just dab it in, and it just has like a champagne gold to it. So it's a little bit on the paler side because at that time I feel like my skin was a little bit paler, so it's more acceptable to use something as light as this. But the formula is really gorgeous, and it's putty like. If you enjoy like a ColourPop type Super Shock kind of putty highlights, or the NYX putty highlight type of things, you would really enjoy this. It's a beautiful formula. I also was using a lot these Milani strobe lights, and I have 3 shades. I have 2 Day Glow, 5 Summer Glow, and then 3 Sun Glow. 5 Glow looks like it's in the lightest packaging, but it's a really gorgeous rose tone shade, and I want to show you guys because I think the packaging can be a little deceiving. It looks like it's for somebody with a lighter skin tone, but it's actually quite rose gold and warm, and I think that it's just beautiful on the skin. So I use these a lot in the spring and in the summertime. And then I discovered this at TJ Maxx. This is the Stila Heavenly Hue highlight. I got it in bronze in the summertime, and stores opened up, and I was like, let's go to TJ Maxx. And Jesus, I fell in love with this bronzer. The swatches, I mean, my hands kind of stained from some pigments, so they're not like great. Maybe I should just do it on my palm. That's what I'm gonna do. It is, It is a putty kind of product, which you can tell that's one of my preferences. So this is what it looks like. It's like a perfect bronzy gold, and in the summertime I could not get enough of this bronzer. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of what people describe the Fenty Glow, Diamond Glow ones, but without all the glitter. I really recommend this. I feel like it's really underrated and people never talk about that. Something that is a new favorite as well is the Rare Beauty highlight. I got mine in the shade Flaunt. This is stunning. If you put it under makeup, over makeup, you can get a natural look, you can get a blinding look. It's easy to apply. This was like my #1 shocker this year to really surprise me, was Rare Beauty with this highlight. I wish I could have every single one of them. This is beautiful. And then last but not least is the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude highlight. This is kind of a gelée to powder highlight. It's very gold. So if you have a fair complexion, you might not like this, but I really love it for my complexion right now. You can see here it's a very true gold, and it really just blends into the skin, and it is like almost like a cream to powder feel to it. It's so smooth when I put my finger over it. I just absolutely love that. This was a year that I really went crazy with blushes, so I have so many. We're gonna just try to get through it as quick as I'm gonna try. So the first one is the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. I am obsessed with this shade right here. It is gorgeous. It is a beautiful berry tone. I think it's good for all complexion. It is quite pigmented, but if you go in with a light hand, you can really blend it out and it just looks beautiful on the skin. I absolutely adore this in the summertime. This was another big favorite. I use this pretty much through the entire year. I think this looks great on my skin tone at any tan or non-tan version of my skin, whatever season it is. This looks beautiful on my skin. The formula is absolutely stunning, easy to use, blends out like a dream. Absolutely love that. Another one that's a really easy go-to is a matte formula. Oh, it's kind of gross. I mean, this is what happens when you use makeup. This is the Nude Sticks blush in I Need a Nude. This is probably my most reached for shade. I probably have about 4 of them, but I tried to be good and only pick the best one, and this is it. I Need a Nude. It's a gorgeous peachy nude on my skin, and I absolutely adore this. It's super easy to use if I'm running to work. I like to use a lot of stick stuff when I'm just running out the door, believe it or not. This is kind of a newer discovery, not newer, but the second half of the year, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Walk of No Shame blush, and this is stunning. It has a very beautiful airbrush quality to it on the skin, and I feel like on my tone it's heavenly, but I'm sure it'll look good on everybody. But oh, when I put it on, I like fall in love with myself, so I'm just saying. This was one that I reached for in the summertime a lot. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Bloom. This is a highlighter blush like situation, like blended situation. So it's just super stunning, super glowy. I mean, I'm just rubbing this on top of a bunch of other shit so it doesn't look right, but I mean, it's beautiful on the skin. And in the summertime when you just want to look juicy and glowy, I mean, that was like a dream. So anyway, I also really like this kind of all year round. This is the this is the Patrick Ta cream blush duo. I have 3 shades of this, but this is the one that I've reached for the most. It's just a really gorgeous natural shade to the skin with the powder on top. Just gives it a very gorgeous sheen, and you know it's not going to budge, it's not going to go anywhere. It's really quite beautiful formula, and the packaging is stunning. You feel so luxe when you use it. I'm in love with this. This was another blush that I used a lot in the summer. This is the XX Revolution blush in Cliché. It's such a bright poppy orange, and I think on my skin in the summertime, it just took me to another place and I could not put it down. Love that. This formula is probably one of my favorite formulas for blushes if it is a powder, and this is the Becca Illuminating, what's that, Mineral Luminous blush, and this one is the Mineral blush. This is Songbird, and this one is Copper, Blush Copper. This one I use all summer long. It's like a bronzy brown shade, and I think it looks gorgeous on my skin in the summertime. I could not stop using this. I use this all the time for like work and stuff. If I wanted to look a little bit more glowy. I tend not to wear highlighter when I go to work because I work in an office and it's not, I don't know, it just felt weird. But if I wanted to look glowy, this is definitely one I would reach for, along with like the Natasha Denona and stuff like that. This one, Songbird, though, I think is beautiful for all year round, and I absolutely love it. That's an oldie but goodie, you know. I also really enjoyed these Fenty cream blushes. Now I have probably about 6 shades, but these are the 2 that I think I used the most this year, and that is Daiquiri and Rose Latte. These are the most beautiful, I think, wearable shades, and they're really easy to use. I just feel like this formula is a little bit extra glowy, so it does feel like it fits into the summertime vibe more, so I haven't been reaching for them as much, but I think they are great. The same kind of goes for these 2. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip and Cheek Glow in Colors of Passion. This is a really unique like mulberry shade to my collection, and yeah, it's like a raspberry mulberry shade, and it really blends into the skin nicely. It has a very similar vibe as the Fenty formula, but the color is really pretty. This is kind of a new favorite. This is the Milani Kiss Cheeks, or Cheek Kiss and Nude Kiss. This is the one I'm reaching for all the time. It's kind of my fall version to what I loved in the spring, which was the Honest Beauty Rose Pink Cream Cheek Blush. I feel like they're the same color, but you just add a drop brown more in this. So this is like, oh, springtime, and then this is like fall. So that's pretty much what's happened with these 2. I absolutely love these, although this one's slightly more matte, so if you like that. That is all the blushes, which were a lot. Okay, we're almost done, I promise you. And let's get into, let's talk about sponges really quick. So this one's dirty. I'm just gonna let you know because I used it today, but I absolutely love this. This is a newer one to me. This is a Dose of Color sponge. I love this. I like how it's big and flat, and you can just boop, boop, boop. And then the point on this is just perfect for getting in here. I think this is great. It's nice and squishy. I recently tried the original beauty blender, and I actually didn't love it. I'm going to use it some more because I have it, but like this definitely beats that. And then my favorite pretty much for the whole year has been the e.l.f. liquid. This is the blending sponge duo, which just came 2 of the same sponges, and it's kind of like a curvy shaped one. This is just a really great everyday sponge. It's super soft and bouncy, and I enjoy that. Brows would be my next thing, and I really only have 2 things to talk about with brows. 3 things. Yeah, 3 things. The NYX Precision Brow Pencil. You guys are probably sick of me saying this. I actually went on a hunt trying to find something to beat this, and I couldn't. It's the best. It's the best one. It's dry enough to stay put when you put it on and to not smudge around too much. It's creamy enough to glide on, and the color is just right. I use the shade Ash Brown. And then my favorite gel is the M Cosmetics. I have mine in Espresso Brown. Espresso, and it's the brow cream, and nothing beats the little fibers and the little spoolie on this thing. And the pigmentation is so nice. So I just like that I can go in with a light hand with this and then really darken my brows with this, and they stay in place. And then if I'm feeling like I'm in a wax brow type of day, I'm going to use my Patrick Ta Tinted Sculpting Brow Wax, and this is phenomenal. I do have a dupe for it. The Revolution Pro has one that I think is really almost just as good, but since I have this is the one I tend to use. Alright, so if you watched any of my videos, you know that I tend not to wear a lip liner because my lips actually are naturally lined. But in the case that I do, these are the three that I actually use the most. If I had to get rid of my entire lip liner collection, these would be the ones that I would replace. These are the two ColourPop ones, the BFF2 and the BFF3. And the other one would be the Patrick Ta, which I'm wearing today, in Oshi Single. I just love this component that it's in with the angle tip, the button at the bottom. It goes on creaminess. The way that it's angled, it's like perfect for shaping it on your lips, and it just looks so luxe. Packaging does matter. I'm just saying. I feel like Juvia's Place like stole the show this year, because I do have a few other lip products, but a majority of them are actually the Juvia's Place. I have more than what's in my hand, but these are the ones that are my favorites. So these are the lip glosses from Juvia's Place in Sissy and Caramel Rose. These are the most beautiful opaque lip glosses I've ever used in my life. They go on gorgeously, and they just give you that beautiful glass like look, and with an even color, and they're just beautiful. They're comfortable. They don't give you that weird glossy stretchy thing with your lips, and they're just stunning. And I also don't really care for matte lipsticks, but these velvet matte lipsticks from Juvia's Place are the bomb. And so the two favorites that I have are, this one is Libra, and then this one here is, Libra, and this one is Lady. And I just think these are like the perfect nude shades for me. This is another matte formula that I really enjoy. This is by MAC, and it's the Powder Kiss Liquid Lip Color. And these are really gorgeous, like moussey formula on the lips, and then it mattifies in a very soft velvety way, and it doesn't quite dry down, but they're so comfortable and beautiful and gives you like that matte finish. My favorite one is Over the Top. I do have this in two other shades, but this is the one that stands out. And then for everyday on the go, this is the e.l.f. Sheer Lip Slick in the shade Golden Pear. I tried this in a couple other shades, did not like them, but this one is beautiful. And then these are kind of oldies but goodies. This is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude in Jennifer, and this is what she looks like. Beautiful, like rosy nude. And then I have probably my favorite lipstick ever is the YSL Volp Shine lipstick in 89. I think this is Rose Blazer. I know. I cannot wear any eyeshadow without wearing primer because I have very, very oily hooded eyelids, and it creases like crazy if I do not do something to make sure it stays put. And so what I found works best really is pretty much everybody's tried and true is the Milani Eye Primer. This stuff works like a dream. You really don't need much else, but I became obsessed with this e.l.f. Putty Primer this year. They have a bunch of different shades. It makes your eyeshadow last all day, and they're really affordable. And then, weird thing, I decided to put concealer on my eyelids because I hated it as a concealer. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Uncover Concealer. It is the driest concealer I've ever tried in my entire life. It literally sucked the life out of my under eyes. And then I decided to put it on my lids as a primer, and it was stunning. So good. So I think This needs to be converted to an eye primer and it will go crazy sold out. Like, this is really, really good. All right, we are almost there. We have 2 more things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about mascaras. This is a recent favorite. It is the Wet n Wild Waterproof Skinny Mascara. This is great. The wand is incredibly thin and I like this for my lower lash line. Really, really beautiful. This Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag, I just think this is great as well. Gives you volume and drama, and some length in there as well. I also have the Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara. This is really, really good. It gives you a lot of drama. It doesn't give you as much volume, but it does looks really beautiful. And then the number 1 of all time is the Superhero Mascara. I had a friend wear this and I was like, what are you wearing on your eyelashes? And it was this, and I bought one and I have not put it down. I actually have 2 backups in my drawer because this is so, so good. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was setting sprays. Now, I don't usually use setting sprays, but when I do, I use Wet n Wild Photo Focus. This lasts all day long without making you feel like you're wearing hairspray on your face. So even if you're wearing a natural or dewy foundation, this really does set the face and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And then new to me is this Milk Super Grip, I think it's called, Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. It comes like this. It has like blue and green, and then you shake it all together and get this really pretty color. And this actually does a really great job. I think it's pretty comparable. This one's actually a little bit more refreshing on the skin, but this is way more affordable. So that is all my favorites for 2020. It feels like that took absolutely forever. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can come back and hang out with me some more. And until next time, love you guys. Bye.